Okay, so let me introduce myself and my partner, my colleague here. So my name is Stephanie. I'm the marketing lead at Simple, and next to me stands Mark Herman. He's one of the founders.
Coming to say hi, hello.
Of Simple. We had lots of registrations, all recruiters, all HR professionals, CEOs as well. We're based in Belgium. The weather outside is not that great. I hope the weather out there is better. We have lots of countries all over Europe. We're looking forward to start. You can ask questions during the webinar. You see at the right of your screen a pop-up where you can ask your questions. We will try to answer them immediately. If it will take too long, we will answer them at the end of the webinar. And we will also set up some polls over there, so to make the webinar a bit more interactive, because now I'm really talking to my screen, and it would be nice if I can also see some response of you guys who are listening. So, first of all, what we're going to do today is I'm going to tell you why you should recruit on Facebook. What should you pay attention to when preparing, because there's a bit of setup before you can start. How do you set up a campaign? And then, of course, how do you measure your results? Because if you set up a campaign, you want, of course, a result. You want applications. What is not on the agenda today? We're talking about paid recruiting. So you have to have a media budget to start recruiting on Facebook and Instagram. We're not going to talk about organic recruiting or free recruiting. We're also not going to talk about data-driven recruitment. But I have some good news, because I think next week or the week afterwards, we're doing a webinar about data-driven recruitment. So keep an eye on our social media, on our LinkedIn profile Simple, because there will announce always all our webinars and upcoming events. And then a great working ad, we're not going to talk about that as well, because it will take us a bit too far away from the basics, which we want to discuss today. Who are we? Well, Simple is an online recruitment agency, and we provide qualified candidates. How do we do this? Well, we only set up recruitment campaigns on Facebook and Instagram, and we focus on passive candidates. This is really important. The candidates that apply for our vacancies, there isn't an intent. They're not actively looking. They're just scrolling through their social media, and then they apply for our vacancies. We do this through very targeted advertising on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and also LinkedIn. And of course, in a user-friendly process. We've built a software, which I will come back to it later on, where you can easily set up your recruitment campaigns yourself. These are some of our clients. I don't want to show off with it, but we have lots of clients, little startups, but also some big companies. We've set up, I think, more than 6,000 recruitment campaigns right now. And we analyze 11 million data points per month, which is a lot. I'm not doing it myself. There's also some robots and algorithms behind it. But 70% of our candidates that apply are passive. So, okay. I think we can start now with our webinar. So, first of all, Facebook. The platform of Facebook, it's also Instagram, it's also Messenger, and it's also the Audience Network. The Audience Network is actually sort of network of Facebook, of lots of websites, lots of applications. Tinder, for example, is also from Facebook. So if we talk about Facebook, it also includes Instagram, Messenger, etc. Now, why should you recruit on Facebook? Well, there are a lot of job boards where you can set up a vacancy, but we know that 80% of the people are not actively looking for a job, like I already said. And you have to reach them where they are every single day. And where are they every single day? It's on social media. It's on Facebook and Instagram. We know that on average, a person scrolls 160 meters a day on social media. So that's a lot. And you have to pop out with your advertisement for your vacancy. Now, you can think that LinkedIn is a better platform. Well, it's not. The most of the recruiters are on LinkedIn actively looking for candidates. But the job seekers, the persons you want to convince with your advertisement, are on Facebook and Instagram. So this is a graph from JobFight, which we stole a bit for our presentation. But this is an important one to really know that you have to convince them on Facebook and Instagram, where they are every single day. Like I already said, it's about paid advertisement and not organic posts. Organic posts, if you have a LinkedIn profile of your company, only 3% of your followers will see the organic post. So make sure you also make paid advertisements for your recruitment.
Sorry, there's a question from Amory
Yeah.
on whether we have the real numbers for this graph. We do. We just thought it was kind of visually more attractive to show it like this. We'll send you through the numbers later, Amory.
Okay.
Thanks for that question.
So hopefully now you know that you have to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm going to give you some more explanation about the recruitment basics before we can start to set up our campaign. What is important? You have to reach the right persons, and you can visualize the whole process in a funnel. What is a funnel? Well, it's actually just a visualization of the different steps that a person goes through, that an applicant goes through. So you have the recruitment funnel. First of all, they come to your vacancy, they apply. Then you have the selection process, which is different in every company. And then, of course, you want a hire. That is a recruitment funnel. So all the steps that a candidate goes through. But before that, you have also the marketing funnel. And the marketing funnel is divided in 3 different steps. First of all, you have the discover phase. This is a phase which is really general. You're not going to convince them with a specific vacancy ad, but a little bit more general. For example, if you're looking for somebody in construction, then you're not going to show the vacancy right away in the discover phase, but you're going to talk about construction in general. This is also a good phase for some awareness about your company or stuff like that. And then when the person sees that, then you can show them an ad in the engagement phase. In the engagement phase, you're already going to specify a bit more your target audience. But then again, you're not going to show the advertising itself. That you do in the attract phase. In the attract phase, there you're really going to show the advertising for your specific vacancy in your company. And there you're going to convince them to click through your vacancy and then, of course, do the whole recruitment funnel as well.
If I can just add maybe, Stephanie,
Yes,
to this
of course.
one, what's important here is to also realize this is also going to be dependent on where you are as a company with your recruitment and marketing efforts. If you already have a lot of data, if you already know the way to reach your target audience of people looking for a job, for instance, in construction, you don't always need to go through all the steps of discover, engage, attract. It also depends on where are you with the data set you have already. But the example we're given here is for companies starting from scratch that have no data and need to start them from a kind of a blank board before going further.
Mm-hmm. And what's also really important is that Facebook doesn't only look at your performance of your ad, but it also measures the user experience on your website. So you have to take both. You have to take a look at both. That both are in the same balance, and that user experience on your website is also great, because this will also have an effect on your performance of your advertising. All right, I'm just going to give an example. I know it's in Dutch. I apologize. I just came back from holiday, so I didn't really have the time to translate everything. There's some mistake in the
It's not a mistake.
slide, but
it just shows our international approach to campaigning, Stephanie.
So,
we did it deliberately.
Like I said, the discover phase here, we were looking for somebody in construction. It was really general. We wanted to attract people that are already working in construction, but we didn't want to show them the vacancy right away. Then in the engage phase, we showed an ad like, okay, you can boost your career here. So we wanted to We wanted people that were probably looking for an opportunity, or that were maybe thinking about changing, but we didn't show the ad vacancy, not yet. But in the attract phase, then we could really show the vacancy. Then we really showed the vacancy for that specific company.
Okay, maybe if I can just pause it here. I'm just going to push a poll just to understand how many of you actually have already published a paid recruitment ad. So if all goes well, on the right-hand side next to questions, there's a tab there called polls. You can actually say yes or no, or on the question on whether you already published a paid recruitment ad. Okay, interesting. So about 30% of you have already. 40, right? So it's 60-40. That's good to understand on where you are in the phase. Okay, thanks for that, guys.
Okay.
And again, might I say, because that's why I'm here to kind of answer questions. Please give me a purpose today, because that also makes me feel useful. So please, I implore you to ask some questions. We've learned from the past that these sessions are really getting interesting if we're able to get some questions and interact with you. So don't hesitate to, even if there's things you don't understand, just let us know. We're more than happy to go a bit deeper in some of the subjects.
Yes. All right. So like I said, before you can set up a campaign, there is some preparation to do beforehand. And first of all, you have to define your target audience. If you go in Ads Manager, you will see that the audience section is really, really large. You have several options. So what we recommend always is think about it before you go in Ads Manager. Think about where your audience is. What are their interests? What is the requirements of them? What are the requirements of them? Where should he or she be based? Stuff like that before you go into Ads Manager. So, like I said, the location is really important, of course, because if you want to recruit in, Madrid, then you don't want your advertising to be shown in Antwerp, of course. And you can target really, really narrow, up to 1 kilometers, which is really, I don't know if everyone in Europe is in kilometers or also miles.
There's miles, but only for the English.
Okay.
Right? And they're still celebrating after the match yesterday, so I'm pretty sure that they're not participating here today.
Okay. So you can go hyper narrow in the geo-targeting. Then the second thing that is important are the interests. You can choose lots of interests in Facebook Ads Manager when you set up your audience. Now, what is important? These interests are not only the pages that the people like, but also the behavior on websites. So Facebook has a lot of data and from all users. So the interests can be important to target your audience. But then the most important one is data. Like Mark already said, if you already have done recruitment campaigns in the past, then you can use that data for upcoming or present campaigns. This is important because Facebook will also look at the performance of your recruitment campaigns in the past. So your first recruitment campaign is a bit of a tryout, and you have to
collect some data.
Lots of data to really perform well on Facebook. This is also important for your budget, because otherwise you will see that your budget will really rise and you will pay a lot per application. If you already have lots of data from that specific vacancy, then your cost will be like average.
I think one of the things we hope you'll take away from that, and Steph will talk about the Facebook Pixel later, is that the quicker you set up the basics on your website, the quicker you'll start collecting data. So for instance, even if you're thinking about only starting vacancy advertising in September or October, it is really worth it to start getting your website ready now and start collecting data of the profiles which are on there, even if you're not already spending money on advertising. We'll talk through that in about 10 or 15 minutes on how that goes. But the more data you have, right, start collecting it now. The more data you have, the easier it will be later on to build successful campaigns.
Exactly. So when you've defined your target audience, then you have to do some research about how you're going to convince your audience with advertisements. You can find some inspiration on career pages like, for example, Indeed or some other stuff in your country for some similar vacancies. But you can also take a look at Facebook Ads Library. I will show you directly. I will go live on the website. Let me just show you. Do you already see Facebook Ads Library? So what you can see here, you can search for any company that is on Facebook, and then you can see their ads. I don't know if there's a company where you ads you want to see, or
yes, I think so. If you have any, I think just one thing I want to add, and maybe you're already going to talk about it, Stephanie. What's very important if you think about your competition, right, in Facebook, is don't only think about your actual competition in the market. So, for instance, if you're running a car leasing company, right, your competition for kind of the vacancy might be other companies in the same space, i.e., other car leasing companies. That's an obvious competitor. But please keep in mind that on Facebook, your competition will also be Volvo or other car companies looking for the same profiles of people. So keep that also in mind. Once you start looking at other ads of your competition, don't keep it too narrow. Now, having said that, please put in the chat any companies you would like to see their advertising on. So just eagerly await your input in the chat. Any company, your competitor, or a company you might be interested in, and we'll just show them the ads. While we're waiting, we might maybe just
there is one.
Somebody, Helke is typing.
Yes. And there's already an answer.
Sorry, Hayes. Okay, so let's put Hayes in there, and let's go a bit down because I don't think Australia.
Hayes Career.
Hayes Career. Let's take that. They're not running any ads at the moment. This is only showing.
These are the ads in Belgium.
Okay.
Maybe just
an accent. Let's do accent. Sorry.
Maybe just.
Let's do accents.
All right.
Ad category.
All ads. Accents.
Wait for accent jobs. Let's go for accent jobs. There you
go.
So now you can, sorry.
Yeah, so here you can see all the ads that Accent is running. You can see their copy, you can see their visuals. If they have videos, you will always also see their videos. Here you can see a carousel. So and you can also see where their ads are showing. So Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, Audience Network. It can give you a bit of inspiration about how to create your ads, the copy and the creatives as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's continue. I'll share the link in the chat.
Yeah.
So you can actually go and have fun with that yourself.
All right. So once you've created your target audience, once you know, like, okay, my competition is doing that, or I want to make my ads like this, then you have to make attractive ads. This is what the audience is going to see. So I want to share some learnings from Simple from the past years with you guys. So what is important is that you use authentic pictures. Don't use stock images. I will show you right away some examples as well. But the more authentic you you build your ads, the more the better, the effective, the performance your ads will be. So the pictures don't need to be taken by a professional photographer. You can just take them with your smartphone, because if you scroll on Facebook, you will see also the other pictures of the people, and they're also taken with just smartphones, an iPhone or whatever. So don't hesitate, like, to take some pictures of your team, of your people that are working there, of the office. Just take them with your smartphone and you can set up your advertising right away. Your communication needs to be uniform. What do I mean by that? That if you use your logo on the picture, then use the same colors for your function title. I will just show you this example like we do. For example, on the left side, you see Nationale Loterij, which is a client of us from Belgium, and he was looking for a sales representative. And you see that the colors of the logo are the same as the colors of the function title. You can also use the same colors then and the same pictures on your vacancy itself, because like I already said, Facebook will also see the user experience on your vacancy page on your website. And then, of course, there are lots of best practices online which you can find, but test everything. You have to experiment with everything. We've learned that sometimes a picture works better than a video, and a picture that we don't like is working better than what we expected. So you have to put everything in Ads Manager and test it right away. After a couple of days, you will already see your best performing ad. So these are some examples that we did. And then maybe a little test. So here we were looking for an advisor, a person in retail. We received 2 pictures of them, of the company. And on the left, you see just a team picture, on the right also. But then on the right, you see that they're holding a smartphone before their mouth. They're wearing a face mask. And we thought, oh, that's a nice picture. It's a shame, but it's also the world where we're living in right now. So we put them both live and we tested it to see which one worked best. Now, I just want to ask you, which one did you think works best?
Yeah, so the poll is again on the left of your screen. So you can start, about 100% of people now think it's on okay. So it's evening out a bit. It's 50-50 now. We'll just give it 10 more seconds for all the votes to come in. And yes, I think we have a slight preference for the ad on the left.
Okay.
No, so it's equal. Sorry.
Okay, we're stopping here then.
It's back again. No, the one. So now the ad on the right is winning. So the face mask ad is getting the most votes.
Okay, well, that's what we thought as well, but we've put it live, and these were the results. So the left picture had 22 applications for a cost of 21 euros per application, and the right one had only 12 applications, and the cost per application was 33. So again, like I already said, we are really a big fan of A/B testing. Test everything. If you doubt, you don't wait hours to put it live. Just put it live and see the results.
And also, so just something to add. There are no, on this one, what we've learned is that it might very well be that if you do this again in 3 months, that the face mask visual will outperform the one on the left. So that's something that we really learned the hard way, actually. There's no silver bullet on Facebook. So there's no kind of always the one that the most normal picture will win, or the picture with the least people or with the most people. There's no rules. You need to continuously test your advertising. Even if something has worked 3 months ago, if you go live again, the world has changed, Facebook has changed, and with that we mean the Facebook algorithm has changed, because that's what's actually deciding who sees your visuals. So testing should really be a part of your process whenever you advertise and whenever you recruit and use advertising.
Yes, definitely. And also I want to add, if you see that one picture works best for a specific location, then test it again if you are searching for applicants for another location. Because like Mark already said, everything depends on the bidding, on the competition, on the people you want to reach. So test everything again if you're doing the same vacancy in another location. Then some measurements. Yeah, you can see them on the screen. You have newsfeed and stories, and the measurements of the pictures and dimensions are different. So make sure you you crop your visuals and your video the right way, because also Facebook is really promoting everything for mobile, which is a fact. Like we are continuously on our smartphone, and you want to make sure that your audience will see most of the screen. Like you have to show your ad most of the screen. I will show you some examples right away. Here you can see that you see the smartphone and the ad is taking the whole place of the mobile, so that it's really thumb stopping. You also see the videos, they are really thumb stopping. If you're scrolling, you have to pop out with your advertising. Okay, and the first 3 seconds, if you use a video, the first 3 seconds are the most important ones, because we scroll really, really fast and you have to pop out really quickly. All right. So those were a bit of the basics. Now we're going to start with setting up our campaign. First of all, a campaign has different components. The first one is a campaign itself. There you have to choose your objective of your campaign. If you want to have lots of clicks, then you're probably going to choose for a traffic campaign. But if you want to use lots of conversions, which we want with applications, then you're probably going to use conversion as an objective of your campaign. It needs a bit of setup for your conversions. I will talk about it right away when we talk about the Facebook Pixel. But it's important to know that the objective is really important when you set up a campaign. Then under your campaign, there goes the ad sets. What do you have to choose in the ad sets section? It is your audience, your targeting, the location, the age, which audience you're going to use, interest, etc. The channels. Do you want to only show your advertising on Instagram, only on stories, only on Messenger, only on Tinder, for example? These are all the things that you have to choose in your ad set, and also the budgets. Budget is something important because you're bidding against all the other competitors for your audience. I'm not going to go into detail for budgeting, but Mark is going to show you a bit later on something more about budgeting on Facebook. And then under the ad sets, there goes the ads. So the ads is a thing that the people will see. There you're going to have to upload your pictures or your visuals, videos, and you have to write your copy over there. So everything in the ad section is what the audience will see.
Maybe just to clarify this is not something we've invented, right? Mm-hmm. This is the actual the system that Facebook is using, and which you will have to use also if you want to put an ad live. It's very important to understand this kind of 3-step approach of Facebook, because it will also drive the way you structure your campaign later on. We have another workshop on that where we kind of actually go practically into the Facebook Ads Manager and show you how it's done. But just keep that in mind, this kind of 3-step approach you need to think about before putting your campaign live.
Yes. I wanted to add something. It's not on one-to-one relation. So there can be more ad sets under one campaign and more ads under one ad set or under one campaign. Like I already said, A/B testing you should do. So it's not a one-to-one relationship over here. Now, what defines the cost of your advertising? There are 3 important things to keep in mind. First of all, the bidding. How much are you willing to pay for your advertising? You can choose for a daily budget or a lifetime budget. It's important to set a budget cap as well, a cost cap as well, because if you choose for a daily budget or lifetime budget, you don't want to spend €500 for one application. So you can set up a cost cap for each application so that you don't spend too much money for one application. Like Mark already said, it's important to know that you're bidding against the competition of your audience and not the competition of your company. Then the second one is the estimated action rates. If you already done advertisement recruitment campaigns in the past, then Facebook will keep that in mind to give you some rates for your advertising. I must admit, it's a bit of a black box. You don't really know like how good your page or your ad is performing, although you see the metrics. But for example, Facebook will also take in account your Facebook profile, your business profile, but you don't know how good your business profile is actually performing on Facebook. So that's a bit of a black box. And then, of course, the user value. What is the value that you give to the user? Because Facebook is a user-based platform, and your advertisements, if it's not good, then it won't be shown. If the users don't click on it, then it won't be shown. So these are all things that define the cost of your advertising. I hope that's clear. If not, you can always ask some questions in the chat, but otherwise I will go to the next slide. All right, I think this one is for Mark.
All right, it's my turn. I'll just see if I can show myself on the screen here. How does that? Yes, you should be able to see me now. Yes, there you go. Okay, so we devised something which is called the financial Facebook formula, because we've got a lot of questions on how much money, how much budget do I need to foresee on building my Facebook campaign. Like Stephanie said, it's a bit of a black box because you kind of don't really control your bidding. That is actually the big difference between Facebook and, for instance, a job board, right? If you want to be present on a job board for 30 days, you know perfectly well what your cost is going to be, right? That's where Facebook is a bit different. Now, what we've done is we've looked at the 3 most important metrics that actually will drive your cost up or down. The first one is, how many applicants do you need? Right? If you think that with 10 or 15 applicants, you will have enough applicants to make a good choice from, that's going to be your target. The second one is, what do you expect the people are, once they are on your vacancy page, how they will convert? So if you have a nice vacancy page, do you make it easy for people to actually apply by, for instance, using a chatbot, or are you still going old school and are you just giving an email, which people need to then copy paste, go to their email tool and put the email in there? If you use a tool like that, you know that's going to drive down the conversion on your vacancy page. And then the first one is, how well do you think your Facebook ad is going to perform? Now, that's, of course, again, a difficult one to assess. We do have some pointers, and I'm just going to try and share my screen here, because I will actually show you the tool we have.
It's loading, I think.
It's loading.
Yeah.
There you go. So what we've done here is we put some elements in here that we know have a negative effect, for instance, on your conversion on Facebook. Inactive campaign, an audience seem to have difficulties using the word audience today. So try it once more. An hard to reach audience. There you go. Second time right. That will obviously have an effect. If you're looking for engineers that need to speak 3 languages, that need to have 5-year experience in energy conversion, that's going to be a hard to reach audience, right? And then your conversion probably is going to be more about 0.3%. On the other hand, if you have a well-known brand, you have an attractive campaign, great visuals, you have a video, for instance, in there, you have a wide audience. For instance, you're looking to come back to the car leasing company, you're looking for people interested in cars, there's some interests in there which Facebook will be able to reach, then your conversion rate might be about 2%. So what you need to do in this tool, You give those conversion rates in, and then it will calculate. Sorry, there's a bit of, I wanted to put it quite big. It will give you a kind of a worst case or best case scenario on the costs you might need. So we'll have our details, and I'll send a link in the chat for you to be able to download this if you would need it. Good. I'm now going to pass on the baton, as they say, back to Steph.
Yes.
So I'll stop sharing here.
All right. I'm going to share my screen
And I'll also
again.
stop sharing my...
So normally you
camera.
see data is king now on your screen. Yes.
There you go.
All right. So the final part is to measure your campaign, your performance of your campaign. There's a lot of data in the Ads Manager, and it's important to measure everything correctly. How do you do this? You have to install the Facebook Pixel. I'm just wondering if in the audience out there, everybody has already installed the Facebook Pixel?
And I know how because I have a poll for that, Stephanie. So I'll publish a poll.
I hope that, but
yes, you're never really sure how well we prepared. So there you go.
okay.
All right. So there's three options. So yes, you've installed a Pixel. No, you haven't. Or what the hell is a Facebook Pixel? I've never heard of this. So, So what the hell is a Facebook Pixel? Seems to be leading the charge.
All right.
So it's a good thing we have a slide on that,
Yes.
Stephanie.
So I'm going to explain in detail what a Facebook is. I think the poll is
Yeah, it's
closed,
finished. Yeah,
or yeah,
no,
okay.
it's not closed, but we never close polls.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So what is a Facebook Pixel? The Facebook Pixel is actually a piece of code that you have to install on your website to measure every data point from all the visitors that come to your website. It's totally GDPR approved, but it is important to mention it on your privacy policies of your website. If you want to know more about it, you can also you can always send us an email or a message in the LinkedIn, because we have written a data-driven recruitment white paper, and there you can really read in detail how to install the Facebook Pixel. Why is it that important? Well, there are three most important reasons. The first thing is retargeting. If a visitor has already been on your vacancy, then you can retarget them with another ad on Facebook as a reminder to really convince them, because sometimes they're scrolling and they click on it and they read through it, but they think, oh, I'm not going to apply today, and then they forgot it. So it's important to retarget them. The second thing is, thanks to the Facebook Pixel, you can track conversions. You have to install what a conversion is, so Facebook knows how to optimize your advertisement to make the most conversions of your campaign. So if there's an application, if somebody has done an application, then it's important that the Facebook Pixel will send this data to Facebook again. It's a bit of technical stuff that you have to install, but again, if you want to download the data-driven recruitment white paper, there everything is explained in detail. And then the last one, which is actually I think the most important one, is to build audiences. Once you've built an audience, then the The most powerful tool of Facebook is that he can look for a lookalike audience, like a similar audience of the audience that you already have, to broaden the audience you want to target. And that is really the power of Facebook. You can really target lots of the people that you want to target thanks to the lookalike audiences. All right, so that is a bit about the Facebook Pixel. Then I want to show you some useful tools that can help to measure all the data. I don't know if you know Google Analytics, but Google Analytics is a center of everything. It's also a piece of code that you have to install on your website, and then Google Analytics will track everything of your visitors. Of course, it's anonymous. Otherwise, it would be a bit of Big Brother is watching you. But it is a lot that they can actually see what everything is doing on your website. And then you have Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager is easy to measure pixels, but also conversions. You have to install everything in Google Tag Manager, so Facebook will know what a conversion is and when a visit has taken place. And then we are a fan of Google Data Studio. Google Data Studio is a software. Also, everything is for free.
Yeah.
So you can just Google it and then you can just download it. It's really easy. It's browser-based. What is Google Data Studio? Google Data Studio is to build dashboards. So you can build dashboards about all the data that you want to capture. It's a really nice tool and you can see everything what a visitor has done on your vacancy, but also the things in Facebook. It's important to combine all those things so you know when a visitor stops applying or why they don't click through. Like Mark already said, conversion rate is important on your vacancy, but also the click-through of your campaign.
Can I just add one thing that,
Yes.
Stephanie? First of all, it's quite meta when you have to Google for Google Analytics, but that was an interesting thought there. But as I mentioned before, nothing is stopping you now to install these tools, Facebook Pixel, Google Analytics, even if you're not really actively yet advertising or recruiting on Facebook. Because once you start collecting data today, again, even if you want to start recruiting in September or October, you start measuring data already today. It's going to help you tremendously once you go live. It's always easier to go live to start recruiting if you have some back data already to build on. So the quicker you start, I think that should be your next step coming out of today's webinar, is talk to your IT department, install all those tools, adapt your privacy policy where needed. But this is something which is going to really help you build better campaigns in the future.
Yes. All right. So I know it's a lot and there's lots of data to keep in mind. And if you don't know something about marketing, it is difficult. Facebook Ads Manager, there's lots of buttons and things you have to choose from. But we have some good news because at Simple, we've developed a software where every HR professional or every CEO or even every, well, not baby, but child.
You need to be at least 18 years to use our software.
I think you need to be at least 12. But
okay, all right. Obviously, Stephanie is working with people who have the mental age of babies sometimes, so I can understand the confusion here. But that's not our core audience,
No.
Stephanie.
No. So, but I just want to say that our software is really easy. If you don't have any marketing know-how, you still can set up your recruitment campaign on Facebook and Instagram. You just have to upload 2 pictures, you have to write your campaign copy, and your advertisement goes directly live. Like I said, we're a big fan of data-driven recruitment. We measure everything. We continuously A/B test all our campaigns. We find the ideal message. We find ideal audience. We find ideal picture, visual, everything. But our software does it actually automatically. We have lots of algorithms behind it. We analyze also the online behavior to boost, of course, the applications, because that's what you want at the end of the day. It optimizes automatically your campaign, and you see real-time dashboards of all the campaigns that we do for you. There's also full clarity on the total budget. If you want to stop your campaign, you can automatically stop. If you want to add budget, you can also do it. So this is a software that we've built, and we have some good news.
Yes.
Because you stay till the end. Yoo-hoo! And
It was a tough job, but you made it.
We're going to share a free trial, which is available for 14 days, where you can set up your campaign yourself. You can play around a bit with our software and see if it's something for you. So Mark will share the link in the chat, so you can register easily over there.
Yes, that's it.
All right.
Or sorry, I just did it. That's what I meant to
Okay.
say.
So then we've come to the end of our webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a bit more about recruiting on Facebook and Instagram. If you have any more questions, please ask them in the chat, or otherwise here you can see our mail addresses or LinkedIn profiles. If you install the Facebook pixel and you have difficulties, don't hesitate to ask them to us. We're here for you.
Yeah, but if you have questions now, please ask them now. We still have some time left. So if there's any questions, any burning questions you would have now, please ask them in the chat. We're more than happy, or if there's something you didn't really understand, you want us to go back and explain it again. The floor is yours, or at least the questions are yours, but you have to ask them now. So I'll give you 15 seconds. Let's check if anybody's typing or not. In the meantime, I will congratulate Stephanie with her great performance on presenting the webinar.
Thanks.
Just to keep this awkward silence out of the air, while every one of you is actually thinking very hard on a question. But Stephanie, it looks like you were brilliant in your explanation, and nothing has been left.
Maybe they're all looking at the FFF.
They're all calculating their budget.
Yeah.
Or applying for the trial. That might also be the case, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
All right, good.
All right.
I'll let you close off.
Thank you very much for listening. And like I said, take a look at our socials, our LinkedIn business profile, Simple, because we announce there every week new webinars, new white papers, etc. Thank you, and hopefully till next time.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.